Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing really well. So today's video is one I have been very excited to film. It's definitely my most requested topic over on Instagram at the minute, and that is of course wedding guest outfits and occasion wear. I feel like with coming out of the pandemic, quite a lot of people have pushed their weddings back to this year. So I feel like so many of you have weddings to go to. I personally don't, so I will be living vicariously through you, but hopefully I can help with the outfit side of things. So I've got quite a few different options to show you, some of which are more geared towards maybe like christenings or like the races, those kind of events, but the vast majority would make the perfect wedding guest outfits. There were also a few others that I saw online, mostly from Revolve, which I really loved, but they were on pre-order, so I couldn't get them in time to film this video, but I will leave those linked as well because there were some really nice options on there. So if you do have a little bit of time to play with, then definitely have a look. As always, everything will be linked below along with the size I went for, but yeah, we have quite a lot to get through, so we will just get on into the outfits. So I have tried to cover as many budgets as possible with the options that I've gone for, and this first dress is actually the priciest that I have on the rail, and it is from Reiss. So I believe this was £225, and it is a gorgeous satin midi dress in this beautiful bright green colour. Of course, this is still on trend again this year. It was huge last year, and I've definitely been seeing a lot of it this year as well. So it is a halter neck dress, but as you can see, it's got kind of like a twisted detail, which I just think is so pretty. And then it comes down into a midi. It's got kind of like a asymmetric hem, which you will see in the cutaways. And then it's got a tie waist here, so you can really cinch yourself in. And then the back also ties into a bow as well. It's not particularly low backed, but I don't think you could wear a bra with this one. You could of course do a stick-on bra though. Now, one thing I would say about this dress is that it does come up a little bit big. I went for the UK size 6, and around like this section at the sides, it is a little bit big. And I think because the fabric is quite weighty, when you tie it behind your neck, this kind of can come a little bit loose, and that makes it fall down a little bit at the sides. So I would say, especially if you are like me and you are not particularly blessed in the boob department, then I would say to try and size down in this dress. Another thing you could do is obviously just have it taken in a little bit at the sides, but I'd say definitely do a double knot at the top, just because that way you aren't going to risk a nip slip, which would be the worst thing to happen at a wedding. But other than that, I think this is such a gorgeous option. I love the colour, it's gorgeous quality and such a classic style. So the next dress is from Massimo Dress, and I feel like holding this on the hanger really does it no justice. I think it looks quite basic, just hung up, but when it's on, it's actually one of my favourite options on the rail. So it is this gorgeous bright orange colour, which is so on trend this year. It's quite simple at the front, and then it goes down into a midi dress. You can see it's got this kind of like pleated detail in the middle, so it does flow out a bit, and that detail in the middle gives it really nice movement. And then at the back, this is probably my favourite detail of the dress. So it crosses over, so you do have a really nice back detail, but you aren't too exposed, which I love. So I believe this one is either 100% linen or a linen blend, but it's a really nice lightweight fabric, and I think this would look so beautiful with tan accessories. It also has pockets. In fact, so did the Reiss dress as well. I don't think I mentioned, but we love a good dress with pockets around here. Sizing wise, in this one, I went for the extra small, and it fits really well. It's a great length. I just love the silhouette, and I think, again, this is just such a lovely classic option for a wedding. So the next dress is from a gorgeous Instagram brand called Anne Louise Boutique. And this is actually one of the options that I personally probably wouldn't go for as a wedding guest. just because it is obviously white based. It does have quite a bright, quite close together floral pattern, so you potentially could get away with this. But I just think, obviously, there's so many other colours that you could go for. So personally, I would just avoid white-based dresses altogether. But I do think that this one is such a gorgeous option for a christening, or for the races, or like a garden party, any other dressy occasion. This would be such a lovely one to go for. So it has this really pretty frill detail at the top. It kind of comes up around the neck to give a high neck effect. And then you've got the frills around the shoulder as well. And then again, it comes down into a tie waist and a midi length. This one has kind of like a tiered detail to it, which I think is gorgeous. And then the back is what steals the show for me. So it ties at the top here, and then you've got a fully exposed back. And I just think the shape is absolutely gorgeous. For me, a low back or an exposed back detail is just so pretty, and for me, as someone who doesn't have very big boobs, I'd much prefer to get my back out rather than my cleavage. So that would be the kind of detail that I would look for in occasion dresses personally. Now I went for a size 6 in this, which is my usual size. But I would say it comes up a little bit small, so this does fit me fine, but it is a little bit tight around my rib cage. So I think just for kind of like comfort, especially if you're going somewhere where you're going to be eating, maybe consider sizing up in this. But yeah, again, I just think it's so gorgeous. I love that floral pattern, and I think for a lot of occasions, this could be a real go-to dress. Next up, we have the first of 2 dresses from Mango. Now both of them I really love, but this one I wasn't expecting to like as much as I do. Like, I really, really like this one, and I think this probably would be the option out of all the ones on the rail that I would personally go for if I was going to a wedding this year. Which I really wasn't expecting, because normally I'm not kind of like a patterns or a floral girl, but this I just fell in love with. So again, it is a halter neck dress, and it's probably, again, doing it no justice hung on the hanger, but it's kind of like a peachy nude base, and then it has a lilac and red floral pattern throughout. Now lilac and red and peach probably aren't colours that I would expect would work together, but I just think these colours complement each other so nicely. So it's made out of a kind of like chiffony crinkled fabric. And it has these tiers all the way down to the bottom, and it is like a maxi length dress. Now that's another reason I wasn't expecting to love this, because it doesn't really have a lot of shape. And I think for me, as someone who is petite, I am 5'2", in case you haven't been here before. So yeah, because I am petite, I do generally try to avoid dresses that don't have much shape to them. I just think it can kind of like swamp me and make me look quite short. But I was so pleasantly surprised by this. It must be something to do with the tiers. And to be fair, it isn't like too shapeless. But yeah, I just fell in love with this dress when I put it on. I would say it is quite long. So on me, it is a true maxi dress, like down to the floor. But one thing I did for the cutaways was pop a bit of elastic around my waist. So I actually used a like strapless bra strap, and I just clipped it at the front. But I think if I'd had it, I would have used a piece of nude elastic. And I tied it underneath one of the tiers. I think it was the top one. Yeah, I think it was the top one. So I tied it around there, and then I bloused it over a little bit. And because you've got obviously the chiffon fabric, you couldn't see it at all, and it just made it that little bit shorter. So if you are petite as well, then that is a little hack that you could do to wear this dress. I do think it looked fine anyway as a maxi length, but I just wanted to show off a little bit of my shoes. So yeah, I just thought that was a good little hack for any fellow petites. But of course, if you are taller, then this dress will be absolutely perfect on you too. Now, I believe this was £70, which I think is such a good price for this dress. It is beautiful quality, and I think it looks a lot more expensive than £70. I picked this one up in a size UK 4 and it fits perfectly, so I would say it is true to size. And yeah, I am honestly just obsessed with this dress. I couldn't sing its praises anymore, and if I could justify keeping it despite not having a wedding to go to, then I absolutely would. So I also wanted to include a suit for those people who don't really love wearing dresses, and this one is a gorgeous option from Zara. So this is the blazer. It's in the most beautiful kind of like cornflower baby blue shade, and it is a single-breasted oversized fit with just a single tortoiseshell button. Now I picked this up in an extra small, and I would say I probably would have sized up in hindsight. I think on the body it is a really nice oversized fit, but the sleeves are just slightly too tight for my personal preference. So yeah, I think I would have picked up the small in hindsight, but I absolutely love this, and I think this would make such a lovely wedding guest option. I also think this would be amazing for a graduation. I get a lot of questions about graduation outfits too, and I think if I could go back to mine, I would have gone for a suit. And then I'll show you the trousers too. So yeah, they are a wide leg fit and they are high-waisted with belt loops, and then they have pleats down the centre of the leg. And this suit is such lovely quality. I feel like Zara recently can be a little bit hit and miss on the quality front, but I was really impressed by this. As always with Zara trousers, I do find that these come up too big. I went for an extra small and usually wear a size 4 to 6 in trousers, and they are too big around the waist. I was pleasantly surprised by the length. They weren't like crazy long on me, but I do think I would need maybe an inch or two off the length, just so they weren't dragging on the floor with heels. But yeah, I just think this is such a good all-rounder option for multiple summer occasions. Obviously, you could wear both pieces separately, so I'd say they definitely would be the best option to go for in terms of getting your cost per wear. And also I think in the UK, with the weather being so unpredictable, a suit would be a really nice option to go for, because even if it is a slightly rainier or cooler day, you're going to be kept warm and comfortable, but still looking summery and dressed up at the same time. Next up, we have a pop of pink and another satin number. This one is from Pretty Lavish, and it is a gorgeous like wrap dress. I'd say this one is slightly more casual than the options I have shown you before, mostly with it having that kind of pocket detail here. It's obviously quite reminiscent of a classic shirt, but I do think it's still a dressy option and one definitely worthy of a wedding. And you can also definitely dress this up with your accessories too. Sorry, my camera battery just died there. But I was just saying that it has a button on one side, and then you cinch it in with the waist tie on the other side. And then it comes down into a really nice midi length. And then you've got this kind of like wrap crossover detail at the front too. Now I think this would be a really nice option for those of you who are blessed in the boob department. I think wrap dresses can be quite flattering. The only thing I would say is that I do find this comes up a little bit big. I went for the UK size 6, and I do find that I have to cinch it in quite a lot at the waist, which kind of makes this collar go a little bit kind of funny. So I think if they did have a smaller size, then I would have gone for that. So maybe consider sizing down if you do choose to go for this one. But yeah, again, I think this is another really lovely option. It's such a fun colour, and you just can't really go wrong with a satin dress for a wedding. So the next dress is another one which looks really quite odd on the hanger. So you're just going to have to trust me and wait for the cutaways to see how it looks on. But it's from a brand called Norma Kamal, and this one is another slightly more expensive option. So this one was £200, and I bought mine from Net-a-Porter, but they definitely stock this brand on Revolve as well. and it comes in lots of colours. I picked up the mint one to show you, but I'd say my favourites are the lilac and the pink, but both of those said they were coming from a warehouse outside of the UK, so I wasn't sure if they would turn up in time to film the video. But I do really like this mint colour too, and basically it is a one shoulder asymmetric dress, and it's got this ruching detail the whole way down. It goes into a midi length, and you'll see it is like asymmetric right down to the hem. Now I actually had a bit of an awkward moment trying to get into this dress because I didn't realise it has a bodysuit within it. So I ended up getting it stuck right on my head. I think I'd gone through one of the leg holes and I literally could not get myself out of it. If you've seen Sex and the City, it really reminded me of when Carrie is engaged to Aiden and her and Miranda go to try wedding dresses on, and Carrie has that dress on and then she does that really over dramatic, like, get me out, she goes like red and she's got the rash. That was me stuck in this dress. So yeah, it was a bit of an ordeal, but we got past it, I got out, and yeah, once you work out how to get into it, it is a very nice dress. I wouldn't say it works for my body type though. I think it would work best on someone taller because obviously it has that bodysuit, and then it is also attached with like some thread on the inside. But because I am so short and the dress, like the material is quite heavy, the ruching kind of like falls all down to the bottom because of the weight. So then in this kind of like middle area, particularly at the back, there's nothing kind of like covering my bum, but if you were taller, then I think the ruching would just like spread out as intended. So yeah, I've probably not explained that very well, but basically if you are petite, I would probably avoid this dress, but if you are taller, then this would be a lovely option. Funnily enough, it was actually Sarah Jessica Parker that sold this dress out the first time around. Carrie actually wore it in And Just Like That, but in the blue version. And I do think this is a really well-priced dress for kind of more of a luxury kind of designer brand, with it being £200, and there's a lot of fabric to it. I do think as well the ruching would be really flattering. I'd normally personally avoid wearing a bodycon dress to a wedding, just because I want to be able to eat like several courses of food and drink all the wine, so I just wouldn't feel like super comfortable in a bodycon personally. But I do think because obviously this does have that ruching detail, you can definitely get away with it more. But I will leave a few colour options of this dress linked below. Next up we have another favourite of mine, and it is again another dress from Mango. So again, very affordable and absolutely beautiful quality. This satin is so thick and just feels so soft. And I love the colour of this one too. So it's kind of similar to the Reiss Dress I showed you at the start. But this colour is a little bit brighter, and I'd say this is more like an apple green, whereas this one is more of that kind of like typical Bottega green, but both are definitely along the same lines. Now this one is again a asymmetric shoulder. I love this detail with the cutout. If you watched one of my hauls a couple of months ago, I had another similar dress from Mango, but it was in a darker green. And when I posted that on Instagram, I had so many messages about it, but unfortunately it had sold out. And I did link this one at the time as a similar option, and I do think this is equally as gorgeous as that one. But I'd say this one is obviously appropriate for weddings, whereas that one wasn't. The shape of this is so gorgeous. It really does skim the figure, and then it flows out at the bottom, which I just think is so beautiful, and it gives it really nice movement too. I went for a, what size did I go for in this one? An extra small, so a UK 4, and I would say again that this one, if you are in between sizes, then I would size down, particularly if you don't have big boobs. It does have, you know, that kind of like sticky material. I'm not sure what it's actually called, but it gives it a bit of grip. But I would still say that it does come up very slightly too big. So yeah, if you are in between sizes, then that is something to consider. But otherwise, I really love this dress. I think it would work really nicely with a blazer draped over the shoulders, and maybe in like a contrasting colour. That could be really fun. And yeah, it's just another gorgeous option, either for a wedding in the UK, or I think for a wedding abroad, this would be perfect, or even just for a holiday too. So the next dress is again from Massimo Dutti, and this one is a really classic shirt dress, again with that kind of tie waist at the side. Now, it was the colour that drew me to this dress, and I am actually going to keep this one. I'm going to wear it in an upcoming trip to Paris, and it was definitely the colour that sold it to me. I would say this is probably the most casual option on the rail, just because it is made from kind of like a poplin fabric. In fact, this is quite thin. I was expecting a slightly thicker fabric, but it does have a really nice sheen to it, and it is still really gorgeous quality. I think this would again be a really nice option for a graduation or just any kind of summer event. But I do also think you could wear it for a wedding too, again dressed up with some dressier accessories. Lengthwise, it is a midi. If you couldn't tell, then a midi is definitely my preferred length for a wedding guest. I do have one shorter option coming up, but I just think a midi is a little bit classier, and I think you've got slightly more options when it comes to finding an appropriate dress. Sizing wise, I got this one in an extra small, and I would say it comes up true to size. But yeah, I can't wait to wear this one in Paris. I will personally probably undo a few of the buttons, but I do think this would make a really nice, slightly more modest wedding guest option. Next up is another dress from Anne Louise Boutique, and this one I would say definitely isn't appropriate for a wedding guest, but I wanted to show it you anyway because it is such a beautiful dress. And I think this, if I was going to Ladies' Day at Royal Ascot, then this would definitely be what I would wear. I can't wait to find an occasion to actually wear this dress because I really do love it so much. It's very similar to the mango dress that I showed you, the maxi one, because this is also a tiered maxi dress. And also obviously floral. It's got this kind of like blue floral pattern, and then this like broderie anglaise detail as well. Now this one is obviously low cut at the front and then also at the back. And then you've got the little very cute frill detail on the shoulders, and it's got a waist belt, which I think is such a pretty detail. Now this one fits me really well in the body, but it is a little bit long. So I think I'm gonna have it taken up at the shoulders because I've got quite a short torso. It comes down a little bit lower than I'd like it to. So yeah, I'll have it taken up a little bit so it sits perfectly at the waist. But this one is absolutely gorgeous quality, and like I said, would be perfect for a dressy occasion such as the races, or even if you were on holiday, maybe in like Positano or somewhere like that. That's very niche, but you know, just any very dressy holiday dinner, I think this would be so beautiful. And finally, I thought I should include one shorter dress option. So I went with this one from ASOS. This is actually the most affordable of all the dresses on the rail. It was £30, which is a very good price, but I do feel like you can tell that it is slightly less expensive. It is lined, but it is very lightweight, and I just wouldn't say it feels like the most luxurious fabric. I really love the colour. I absolutely love sage green, and yeah, I was just drawn to this when I saw it on the website. So it's got these kind of like fluted sleeves, super pretty with this frill detail. You've got a slight little cutout at the waist, and then at the back it has a couple of ties there too, but you'll be able to see it better in the cutaways. Now I think for me, I don't really love this dress on me personally. I think you need to be a little bit taller for this. I just don't really think it does anything for my body type. It also comes up quite big. I got this one in the size 4, and it is still too big around the back. And I think because it is elasticated there, then you can definitely size down one size. So yeah, I don't really love this one on me personally, but I think on the right person, this could be really pretty. And obviously this one would work for many occasions other than just a wedding, with it being that shorter length. So yeah, it's quite a versatile one, and if not for a wedding, I think it would be really nice on a holiday. But yeah, I just wanted to include it as a shorter option and a very budget friendly option too. So those were all the outfit options I picked out to show you. I really tried to cover as many styles, fabrics, colours, budgets as possible. So I really hope you found something in there that you liked. Please let me know in the comments which your favourite options were. I'm very intrigued to hear. And also, if any of you do go for one of these dresses for an upcoming wedding or an occasion, then please do let me know, and also send me any pictures on Instagram, because I would absolutely love to see. But thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed, and don't forget to subscribe if you aren't already, and I will hopefully see you in my next video.